Well, hi everybody. It's good to see y'all. Welcome back to Myers Tells Appalachia Wednesday night show. And tonight we got some pretty neat stories coming up, and want to share those and see who we got in the comments tonight. I want to say welcome to Rachel Richards. Thank you so much for coming in. It's so mighty good to see you. Our good brother Randall, it's mighty good to see you too, brother. Thank you so much for coming in. Always good to see you folks. Uh, Last week, I was just sick. I couldn't do the show, but we got over that and back to ourselves and back to normal. Looking forward to this week. Got some stories, as you saw by the title, about some of the critters that we got here in the mountains. Some are normal, some are not. We'll go over a couple of them. A couple of these stories actually happened to my own father, and one is just one that was told to me. I thought I'd share with y'all. So, looking forward to seeing that. And Ace, it's good to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. We really appreciate it, and it's always good to see you. So, thank you. Welcome. All you folks at home that don't have the option to comment, we appreciate y'all. It's good to see you. Hope everything's doing good for you. Just can't beat you folks with a stick, I swear. And John, it's good to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. Always good to see you. Sure do appreciate it. And Miss May, it's good to see you. Thank you so much. Welcome to you. It's good to see you. Miss Nisi, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in. Mighty good to see you, and welcome to everybody. Excited for this show here. I'm gonna be working on something. I've kind of got it figured out. Hey there, Jared King himself. It's good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in. Always welcome. Always good to see everybody. I've kindly got this here figured out how to get this background that I've been working on up for y'all as I talk, kind of cut the screen down, minimize me and all that. I just got to literally, as I went live, it finished creating. So I'm going to try to get it uploaded here and get it on there where y'all don't have to see me, that's for sure. But let's see. I got the wall. I had some updates to it. Y'all can see I finally got the lantern and the stand done. This is hand sawn cedar. Came from an old mill. A friend of mine that passed away had some of this stacked up, and his wife gave it to me. Knew I'd do something with it. And let's see what else. We got this pan balance. This actually works, and it's solid cedar here. So solid cedar, solid iron. And of course, we got another lamp right here. Both of these work. I've already used them. And this one is the coolest thing. Let's say howdy ho to Flying Squirrel. It's good to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. Always good to see y'all. But this is it's just a stamp little steel bottle opener, but it's not just any stamp bottle opener. It's not even actually stamped. This is actually one of 15 made. It came from Lodge. They're going to start. It's got their Lodge logo, and of course, it's got their USA in 1898. That was only one of 15 that will ever be made. What they do, and they're going to start offering those in cast iron. and they make a mold. They may do 15 or 20 of them in one single mold, and they created this mold and they wanted to see how it worked. So at first they test in, I don't know if that's stainless or what, some kind of molten metal, and they pour it in that mold, and they pop them out and they look at that. If there's no imperfections in it, the etchings right on them, everything looks good, then they'll set into using the mold with the cast iron, and it'll go into full production. Well, me and my dad went last Monday to Lodge. We always go to Lodge on Monday just to check it out. And let's see. Yep. That actually came from Lodge 2. Went and picked that up myself. But we just went in there just to check the seconds and see what they had going on. And good evening. Everyone's doing all right. Well, that first storm really done the doozy. I had to clear like 3 different trees out of the road trying to get home. James, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in. Welcome. Good to see everybody. But me and my dad go once a month. Always go to Lodge, just see what they got. They always change their stock. The seconds are always changing, and I bought one of those little funny shaped things that you get honey out of the jar with for autumn. And the lady's like, "Hey, I know y'all've come in here like for like the last 6 months, like clockwork. And I want to give you one of these." She said, they give them to us to give out, but she said there ain't but so many of them. And she wanted to make sure I got one of those, and it's got its place up on the wall now. So I thought that was kind of neat. And yeah, it's cold enough out there to be snowing now. It may be snowing here. I don't know. I hadn't been outside lately. But let's see. We're going to get up to 3 inches of snow. Lord have mercy. Y'all can keep every inch of that stuff. Yuck. I'm ready for some 85-degree beach weather again. This weather's been crazy. 70. It was in the 70s just like 3 days ago. Now it's like 50. What does that say? I can't read it. 43 and cold and windy and snow and everything else. But I'm excited for spring to get here. I saw that the Flying Squirrel or Ace put spring's coming. I am so glad it's coming. 3 days ago, I got to turn the garden spot in and had to cut all the grass out of it. And then yesterday, before all the rain came, I went ahead and turned it really good and got it raked out and turned again and getting ready to plant. Went and picked up some onion sets and some potatoes to plant. Looking forward to that. Some cabbage. Man, we talking about some good eating. Just some neat stuff coming up here. And I'm going to send this link right here. I'm hoping that I can get this to work for y'all where y'all don't have to look at this. You can actually look at a cabin with snow going. I actually worked on this for a while, but cut me off this old screen anyway. I don't want to see that. But yeah, I'm totally ready for spring, Lord. Spring, summer, get out in the garden and work that garden, and soon enough you'll have cucumbers and tomatoes to eat right out the garden. Oh, Lord, that's some good eating. But I really appreciate you folks for coming in here tonight. It's mighty good to see y'all. Appreciate y'all sharing me out and leaving the comments and clicking the like button. That's mighty cool of y'all. But I guess we'll kind of get into the story here. We got 3 different ones tonight, all involving animals. 2 of them are your basic animal, but one of them is the strangest thing, and we don't even know what it is. So, without further ado, we'll get at it. Some of y'all that's been around here a little while kind of heard these before, but this one's a lot for some of the new ones. Out here in the mountains, one of the let's say hi to Tarsha here. Good to see you, Tarsha. Thank you so much for coming in. Always good to see you, and welcome. But out here in these old mountains, one of the most common things that we do is hunt. Because these grocery stores, we didn't have them always, and they're getting so expensive now you can't hardly afford nothing. So the only thing we can do is live off the land. Well, a couple of winters back, my dad climbed up in his old deer stand at my aunt's house, and sitting right on the side of the mountain, deep back in them old woods. He climbed up in his tree stand, and he was up there, and all of a sudden, things got quiet. You couldn't hear a peep. It didn't even sound like the leaves was rustling. The birds were chirping, but all of a sudden they got quiet. Just a dead silence fell over the whole mountain area there. And he knew something wasn't right, so he knew that he better hush too. But out of nowhere, he started hearing rustling in the leaves. Way out in the clearing, down below where he was hunting at, he seen an old painter come walking out of the woods. And that thing was so big, its old belly was dragging the ground. Looked like it was just making its way around, but everything in the area knew to be quiet, or else it would become something to eat for that old thing. But needless to say, as that thing made its way out of the area, so did my dad. He made his way out of that tree stand, got in his truck, and to this day, he has never been back. I wouldn't know what to do if I come face to face with an old painter. A lot of the wildlife management officers, they swear that there ain't a panther or painter, as we call them, nowhere near these mountains. But we all know better than that. There's nothing like being out deep in the woods camping, and all of a sudden you hear something call out. Almost sounds like a woman screaming. But it's an old painter either calling in to some of its family or letting everybody know that I'm coming for you. But that one there, I wouldn't know what to do if it was me in that tree. I believe I'd have fainted out of it. But old painters, they've been around here for years, and I don't know why they seem to think that they're not, because, they are. You can just be walking in the woods and see the paw prints. I'm sure that way back in the late 1800s, a lot of the local farmers, a lot of their livestock started being attacked in the mountains, and a whole posse of them went hunting the hills for anything that they could think of that would get a hold of their livestock. So they just about hunted the wolves and the wolves and the panthers and coyotes. They hunted them darn near till there wasn't nothing left, but they're slowly making a comeback, that's for sure. Oh, Jared said sending pics from Georgia and Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, and everything else. So if y'all got any awesome pictures from that area, send them in. I'm sure he'll make some good stuff. Oh, pics of old painters. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Had them send you. Wow. Dang. That's cool. Be able to have actual photos of those things. But that story right there, I don't know what I'd do if I seen one. Like I said, I'd probably fall out of that tree stand fainting. But now this next one that we get to, it's just a strange one. You know, we got a saying around here that angels don't always have wings. Well, this story involves that exact same thing. My father, he always walked these old mountains, and he'd gather roots and plants and berries, and he'd sell them to help put food on the table and clothes on the back and pay the bills. Easy way to make a quick buck. And also he'd walk them same trails going to the old fishing hole. He'd walk down the mountain, go down there on the Tennessee River and fish a while, and then he'd walk back up. Well, this time that I'm talking about, he walked down the mountain and something told him not to take his normal path, to take the long way around. And he knowed in his gut that he needed to take that long way around because there was something down the other path that he didn't need to be crossing. So he listened, and he took the long way down, just walked around and made his way down to the fishing spot, and he fished all day long. And it was getting late. The afternoon starting to get where it was getting an hour or two just before sundown. He decided, man, he said, I had better be getting home. But he said, I'm so dog tired from fishing. He said, I don't think I'm going to take the short way home. Well, he walked from our fishing spot down the trail, and he got to the spot where the road forked, and it was go one way, the shorter path home, or go the other way, the long path home. But something told him you need to take the long way home. But he said, he thought to himself, I'm just a dog tired. I can't do it this time. Well, he started up the short path, and he got a good ways, but all of a sudden he didn't hear nary a footstep. He didn't see anyone. He didn't see anything. But out of nowhere, this strange looking man popped up around the corner and stopped him. He said, son, he stopped, talked to my dad. He said, son, you don't need to go any further. There's something up ahead here you don't need to get a hold to. And Dad told him, said, I'm just a dog tired. I don't know if I can make the long way home. And he said, listen, I'm telling you, you need to take the long way home. He said, just believe me, just listen to me. And my dad turned, and he was thinking to himself, I just don't know if I can. Well, where he turned back, that man was no longer there, just vanished. And he just said, man, there must be something ahead that I do not need to get a hold to. I'm going to go a long way. Well, sure enough, he walked back to where the road wide off, and he took the long way, and he got right at the top. But there's a certain point where you can step out and look down and see the short path. Well, he looked down, and it just so happened right near the top where he would have had to reach and grab and pull himself up. There was a great big old huge rattlesnake sitting there curled up. Sure enough, that it was a big old rattlesnake. And he actually went up to the truck and come back and actually shot that dang snake. And he actually has the skin of it hanging up in the old shop building right now. He keeps that snake around as a warning, as a reminder to listen to you, inner spirit or inner soul, angel, whatever you call it. That you better listen to your gut feeling. But that old snake skin, I swear, I think it's every bit of 4 foot long. It's a big old rattlesnake. It had all of 10 rattles on it. It was an old snake. But he learned real quick, like when he got that gut feeling, he'd better listen. So he told me that, and I was like, that is the craziest thing you ever heard. And I almost didn't believe it, but he said, go look out in the truck. And there that thing lay. And that was the strangest thing. Now, was that feller that popped up, was he an angel? Was he a mountain spirit or good Lord himself? That question there, I don't know if we'll ever actually know the answer, but we know one thing: you better listen to your gut feelings. And that story right there, oh man, I wouldn't know what to do if I seen that snake either. Lord, I'd probably faint on that too, because I don't like snakes. Lord have mercy. But that's right. She said, always listen to your instincts. Always listen to it. And it's not there. It's got to be from somewhere and lying about. That's right. So, absolutely. If you get that gut feeling, you might better listen to it. That's for sure. But now this next story, now it's stranger than the rattlesnake one. This one here, Lord, all y'all to see of me is just a dust trail, because I'd be long gone. But this one, 10 group of 10 buddies all took off work in the summertime. They wanted to have a good old time, just hang out and spend some time together like they used to. And they met up for a camping trip. And when they went camping, they didn't want to go just down on the Tennessee River or Lake Lanier or anywhere like that. They wanted some place where the closest, even house was miles away. A place where it would be so quiet and peaceful that they wouldn't have nothing to worry about. So, all right. Jared, thank you so much for coming in. It's good to see you. Always welcome. And always thank you for coming and visiting. We'll see you next time. But anyway, them fellers decided that they would go park at they would go camping it's a state park, but it's over 100 miles. I mean, it's just a massive, vast forest. Something kind of like the Appalachian Trail. You know, there's some parts of that civilization's 100 miles away, and people hadn't been to it in years. Just remote. The friends met up, and there was the place they were going to had a parking area. So the 10 friends all parked their vehicles, locked them up tight, made sure they was all safe, and they packed in their gear, and they was going to go camping for an entire week. And the place they went to, it was so rugged. I mean, it was up hills and down hollers, and I didn't see Tammy there. Thank you so much for coming in, Tammy. Welcome in. Good to see you. But the last house that they'd seen was over 5 miles back. And the hike was darn near 10 miles in one direction. They just hiked as far as they could go. And they found a little spot right on a little creek. A pretty good little distance across it. You could throw a rock from one side to the other, but you had to chunk it pretty hard. But a lot of good flowing water. You know, they had fresh water and everything. The 10 men set up their tents and got settled in for the evening. You know, they gathered their wood for the fire and got their fire started, had their little camping chairs sitting around, and the ones that could play, like the guitar and harmonica, violin, you know, all them type things, they brought them in with them, and they all just sat around playing music and watching the fire and just having a good old time. They said it was getting late up into the night, and said all of a sudden the wind stopped blowing, the birds stopped chirping, the crickets didn't sing, just quiet. It was still. They said all of a sudden, way across the water there, they heard trees snapping off. And they heard bushes shaking and rattling, and something was being thrown into the water. And then this gut-wrenching scream let out. And it was so deep and so loud that you could just feel it, the vibrations from it in your chest, making it pound. Said they didn't know what it was, but it sure wasn't natural, and it was mighty big. I said that you could hear what sounded like massive trees just being ripped up by the roots and thrown into the forest. Said they hear these knocks and bangs, and just like I said, that scream, it was so loud it'd make your ears bust your eardrums. And just the scariest thing. It said the strangest thing was it stopped just as soon as it started. So it just went quiet again, and then all of a sudden the wind started blowing again, and the birds were singing, and the crickets were chirping, and everything went back to normal. Said, you know, they didn't sleep very well, but they figured, you know, they kept one person up keeping watch all night. But the next morning, they kind of talked to each other. It's like, do we need to pack up and leave or what? And they all agreed, you know, they'll just stay unless something actually happens to them, because it's nearly 10 miles back to the car. But let's see. Welcome in, Daryl. It's good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in. Always good to see you. And yeah, we're all doing well, keeping mighty warm, just having a good old time. But the next morning, they all agreed to stay, and one of them got curious and said, well, let's go across the water up here and let's see what exactly, if we can see any evidence of what that was. Well, they had to walk upstream where the water narrowed some, and they crossed there and made their way back downstream where across from their camp where they heard all that carrying on, and said it looked like a big old bulldozer had come through there or something. Said massive trees was pulled up by the roots and thrown, and just trees snapped in half, and said the thing that got them the most was the footprint. The footprint that was left was so big, it would take 3 to 4 men's feet to make one of those. Said it was so big, and it sunk into the ground as if it weighed 400 or 500 pounds. And said that it was so tall that the scratch marks that it left in the tree standing were over 10 feet off the ground. It said that it had the strangest smell was in the area, and that there was thick patches of black fur left in some of the tree branches where it must have got tangled in its fur as it was making its way out. And I agree with the flying squirrel. It sounds like it might have been an old Bigfoot, or what is that, the Alabama white thing, or a wood booger or something like that. Who knows, Sasquatch. But whatever it was a massive creature that it's not your normal big old grizzly bear, or which we don't even have grizzly bear here. Down here in Alabama, all we got is black bear mostly. And they're not nowhere near as big as that was. I wouldn't know. Yeah, flying squirrel said the skunk ape. That's another one. Could have been that. Could have been any kind of cryptid creature. Either way, that thing was so big. I believe that I would have packed up my stuff and made the 10-mile hike to the car and went home. I wouldn't even want to be in the woods with a creature like that, because my goodness, that thing is something else. Like I say, I wouldn't know what in the world to do if I had something like that to happen to me either. So these stories, Lord, I was real appreciative for them to share them with me. Flying Squirrel says I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that, nor would I. That's for sure. But you never know what lives in the deepest, darkest parts of these old mountains. Just some of the craziest things. As soon as the bugs and the creatures went silent, I would have left then. Right? Absolutely. When they go silent, there's something going on. Whether it's a ghost or one of them feral people, cryptid, or just a person in general making their way through. Either way, something's around, and you might better pay attention. But I was appreciative to the campers that shared that store with me, and of course my dad passed on his store with me too, and I thought you guys would enjoy those. Some strange things. Not listening to your gut feeling, you learn real quick you can get into some trouble. And if he wouldn't have listened to that, the old man and his gut, he could have died right there on the side of the mountain being bit by a big old rattlesnake. But luckily, he heeded the warning. So, and those campers, like I said, I would not know what. I probably froze for days sitting there just staring off into nowhere land, trying to figure out what it was I saw. But yeah, I will definitely thank him for that for y'all. I thought it was mighty interesting for sure. And, to me, it's kind of crazy how creatures end up in places that they don't belong sometimes. The video that y'all have coming Saturday is actually sort of about that a little bit. Alderman Hope and I came across a neat little place while we were down in South Alabama at the beach, and I thought it was a very interesting story, the history of the place. So I've got a video going about that, and y'all will have that Saturday to check out. And appreciate each of y'all checking out the video of the red ash mine last week. That was very interesting. It's kind of sad how these places pop up during the 1800s and they stay in use until the mine that they were built around is gone, and all of a sudden the place is abandoned. But that's how a lot of these old towns get forgotten quite often, is the mine that they were built to, that the people worked at, goes out of business, and when they leave, so does the town. So I agree with that, Randall. It's about to get supper time here too, so hopefully you enjoy your supper and hope you have a good night. And I want to thank each and every one of you folks for coming in here tonight, listening to me jabber on, share these stories, and share some of the stories of the items that I've got up on my wall. Seems like it's growing every day. Always love this old iron and old tools and things that have history, like that old Illinois Central Railroad and Ranch. That thing's got old history. And like I say, y'all stay safe tonight with the weather coming, and stay warm with the cold weather. And as always, we love y'all to pieces. And until next Wednesday, we'll see y'all later. Bye, guys.